Welcome to Elaine Sterling, esthetician. Welcome to Season 2, Esthetician Unlocked. You are now in the Elaine. Welcome to Esthetician Unlocked with Elaine Sterling. You are now in the Elaine, my Elaine, where we talk everything aesthetics and we get you straight, we get you right. And today I have a very special guest, Jazmyne, and she is an amazing esthetician, an amazing educator. She works for Hydrafacial. She's a business builder, and she really helps keep our graduates motivated. And plus, we learn Hydrafacial within the program, so that's very exciting. So we're very excited to have you. Jazmyne, tell us about you and where you come from, what are you doing?
Woo! Okay, so I'm Jazmyne. I'm with Hydrafacial. I've been a licensed esthetician for going on about 9 years. Just to give you a little bit of my background, I started in fashion.
Did you get a degree in fashion?
I did.
Where did you go to school?
I went to Georgia Southern University.
And so what was your degree?
Fashion merchandising and management. So I dibbled and dabbled a little bit in fashion. I actually was a corporate correspondent for Chanel. It was really fun. I did a lot of merchandising, some department stores. I would put together the sets of the floor, mannequins. I did a lot of managing some department stores too, like the beauty and also the women's apparel side. But I really loved skin. So while I was in school, in fashion, I always worked at like retail counters. So I worked for Clinique, Estee Lauder, and I really found that I loved skin. So I ended up having my daughter last year of college.
Okay.
And I just really wanted to keep going. I didn't feel that I could really propel in fashion as much as I would be able to in aesthetics. So I said, okay, fashion's really great, but I'm not able to do a lot of Christmases. Holidays really is when everything picks up.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I really wanted to be a mother that was really invested.
Present.
Yeah, very present, super invested into my kiddo's life. So I said, you know what? I want to do aesthetics. So I started as a receptionist at a Massage Envy. And I was like, okay, I'm going to stay here, finish my aesthetics program. Funny story. I really wanted to go to Elaine Sterling.
Oh,
And
I heard that she's really mean though. She's tough.
I know that really like scared me. So my mom it really did. So while I was at the counter, my mom was like, if you really like doing makeup, just go to school for aesthetics. And I just thought it was so like, what? You cannot make a lot of money like doing skin. Like there's really something outside of this cosmetic counter. And so I looked it up and my mom was like, you have to go to Elaine. Like that is the school. And I started asking people, Elaine Sterling or Paul Mitchell? And everybody's like, you have to go to Elaine Sterling. Like, that's the school. But then people started getting in my mind and started telling me things. And I'm like, they would say things like, you will only be able to graduate if she believes you can graduate.
Oh, that's not true.
And they would just say all these things, right? So I'm like, okay, I just guess I'm going to settle for Paul Mitchell.
It's okay.
Went to Paul Mitchell, got my license. And my instructor was Miss Andrea.
Oh, like
Yeah.
I'm instructor here.
Yes. And while I was in school, I had two jobs. I had a 6-month kid.
Hard.
It was very hard. Funny story. I actually fell off a curb one day just going to school.
Just like a freak. And a
like, how
curve is
do
like
you go
and a curve is like that high, right? It's not that high. It's crazy.
So it's like, how do I fall off a curb? But I was really lack of sleep. So what I would do is I would have to go to school from 8 to 3, get off from school at 3, go and work at the cosmetic counter till about 9. Then I would leave there. And then I would like work at a bar as a bartender until about 4 in the morning. So literally, my mom.
Wow.
So literally, I would have like a 3-hour window just to try to sleep. And one day I was just so exhausted. I don't remember how I drove to school. It was like kind of like memory where you can get in the car and since you always go there, you just drive. And I remember I was just so exhausted. I came into the school, well, I tried to walk into the school and like I fell going on the curb, literally sprained my ankle. And I was like, I had a really, really bad fracture. And I was like, wow, I'm moving so fast. I still was like, whoa. So got my degree, finished when my daughter was still pretty young. I really do really, really love Miss Andrea because there was times at school I was just so out of it. And she would tell me things like, just keep going. Like you are really advancing some of the things that you already know, and you're really a go-getter. And I was always exhausted. Like I felt like I was like a walking zombie in school. And I really do cater a lot of things to her because I was like, I can't get to this program. I'm just really tired. I have this baby. I'm really not spending as much time as I want to spend with my daughter. And it was just really a lot. And I graduated. And when I graduated, I went to the back of Massage Envy, because I also would do that like part-time. So I had a lot of jobs, right?
Yeah.
Like at one time.
Uh-huh.
But I ended up getting to the back of the house and I was an esthetician. I was like, this is really cool, but I don't really feel like I'm making a lot of money. So I said, I wonder what it would be like to run this clinic. So then I started to do clinic management and they let me to be the clinic manager over Austell. Loved it. I helped grow the massage, the spa, and we were like number one a lot. And I was like, this is what I love. But then one day there was a girl named Ashley. She walked in. I'm like, ooh, she's pretty. And she was my PCA rep. And I was like, how cool is that? So we started talking. And I'm like, what is it that you do? And she's like, I'm a business development manager. I'm like, what is that? I was like, are you licensed? She's like, yeah, I'm licensed. I go in, I support accounts, I teach them PCA. She would still train, so she still had her hands on. And I was like, you have to be networking with a lot of people. And she's like, yeah, I love what I do. I ended up saying, okay, that's really cool, but I really wanted to still say, like, I still wanted to kind of be in fashion a little bit because I'm like, I don't want to give up on that. And I was just bouncing all over the place. So I found an opportunity to be a corporate correspondent for Chanel, and it was most of the time remote until we had to like do audits or anything like that because we had all of the US. So that was any of the Saks locations, all the things. And I really learned business while being there because it was like the Devil Wears Prada times a gazillion. We would get in trouble.
I'm going to go see the play in London, by the way, The Devil Wears Prada.
What?
Yeah, because they turned it into a play and Elton John's written the music.
Ooh.
It just started. So, I mean, it's Ashley's favorite movie. And I think because she thinks I reminds me of the woman, the mean one.
She's fierce.
Oh, love it.
So I was there and I was like, oh my gosh, my mental exhaustion here. But I learned so much. Like I would get in trouble if I put someone's email in the wrong order. It was a hierarchy of who I needed to CC on the email. I mean, I learned business there. I was very meticulous. I started to become very meticulous and just very like I have to be perfect there
Right.
because it was a big job for me. Like that was in fashion. I thought Chanel was like creme de la creme, right? So then I'm like, okay, I'm done with that. I want to go back to aesthetics. I started to look up what is some business development manager positions. And then I got Hydrafacial. I started getting all of my accounts, and God is so good. They told me, we used to actually be inside of Elaine Sterling. I'm like,
Yes,
really?
you were.
I'm like, the Elaine Sterling? And they're like, yeah. And they said, we really want to get this built back up. She was the first to ever do it. This is going to be really great. So I'm like, okay, I can do it. I can go in there. I went in, I did my training. I saw that my instructor was here. It was like so full circle. And I left in my car and I cried.
Oh.
Because the first time I ever came to the school, I was just like, I was scared of this. And I came in, I I killed it. My teacher's here. And then when you asked me to be a commencement speaker, it was like
At the graduation. Oh, look
yes,
at you.
it's
That's so beautiful.
like
See, I called you anyway. You ended
yeah,
up being here. That's wonderful.
yeah. So when reading your book and saying how you wanted to like transform people and just really want a strong presence of you really have people walk in the door and they leave with something. When I was just asked to be the commencement speaker and when I
That
spoke,
was at our graduation, for those who don't know, at our graduation.
yes, and when I spoke, I was like, I came to the school in a different way, a way that I could have never fathomed, imagined. And I was telling my mom, like, I have Violaine Sterling's number. It's on my phone. Like,
Yes, call me anytime, by the way.
like, I have her number. My mom's like, you need to have her as your mentor and just tell her about all the things and like your. I'm like, do you know how many people probably asked her to be the mentor? So it was just like a full circle moment. And then my daughter was in the crowd.
Oh, and how old is she now? 9?
She's turning 9 in February, and
So she
she
got to see Mom shine.
yes, and she really was like, "This is a fashion show," and she was so excited.
Yeah.
So it was like I started this process when she was just a wee baby, and then to see her be able to see me as she can understand it now in a space that like I couldn't fathom was like groundbreaking to me.
Because
Yeah.
she's got a mom to look up to and
Mhm.
something to aspire to, and
Mhm.
because it's hard being a single mom.
It is.
You know, I got a single mom to 2 kids, and I know that they just see mom as working all the time. They don't realize there's bills to pay, and you know, there's those things that they need for school, and they don't see all of that, right? They just see, and so I know how hard it. I also worked 3 jobs, and I think my kids resented me for many years because you know I had to work 3 jobs, and then I had cancer, and just you know I didn't think I was as present as I wanted to be, and then I love when they interviewed Asha for the book, and she said that it really like warmed my heart when Asha said, you know, the one thing I love about my mom is she was almost present. She said that she was always present in our lives, and I like you know for because you know with your parents when you went through your teenage years, I'm sure you know your dad was the worst, your mom was the worst. You know how you go through those hating the parent stage. So, but for her to say that I was always present, and she even gave an example how you know I never missed a soccer game. You know, and so you children remember a lot of things. You know, I mean, I wasn't perfect because I was a mom that had to work really hard, and I was also sick, and had you're going through the adult stuff. And kids shouldn't have to worry about that, obviously. But just that she remembered, you know, how was it and how I would shout at the ref, that's a bad call. You know, I like would, you know, wanted to take the, you know, I would have to walk away because I would get so mad. But it was so yeah, you know, kids are amazing, and I'm just glad that you're such a you know strong mentor for your child.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a blessing to be able to still go to all the field trips, to be able to do what I love and show her that things don't stop. Um, so I think that that's really a blessing and just to show her that I'm like living in my dreams. And she can see that like all of your dreams are attainable, things that may be so small to someone else. To speak at a graduation maybe so small to someone else, but that was huge for me. That was like one of the biggest asks that I ever have been asked, and coming from you, like, wow.
Well, they all said who should be you know speak the commencement address. I said Jazmyne, it's like a no-brainer, you know. And so tell us about Hydrafacial because some people out there may. First of all, tell us what Hydrafacial is, but I think the other question is that there may be some single STs out there that feel like that's not obtainable. Just like, you know, you as an esthetician or you in your career, that seems, you know, not obtainable because of the money or whatever. So to walk us through like what is Hydrafacial and what are the benefits to an ST business?
Yeah. So Hydrafacial is basically a non-invasive treatment where you get a chemical peel, painless extractions, all in one seating. It's very comparable to like a hydrodermabrasion. So instead of getting like a microderm, you're getting it with solutions, and it's more so not the grit, essentially. And you're taking out all the dirt, the debris, the congestion.
I said it's like pressure washing your face, but I'm sure you're not allowed to say that. Did they say don't say that?
Sometimes, but you get to see everything. It's a seeing is believing.
It's like flushing. I think because you know I can even imagine the serums going in because you know how we are as estheticians going into that follicle and flushing out all of the dirt debris, you know, that's been sitting in there,
Yeah.
the environmental goop.
Right, and you get to see it.
Yeah, no, we
You get
love
to
that.
swivel around the gunky and see it
We love the
all.
gunk.
So it's really amazing. And for someone who's a single room Etsy, we have so many single room Etsy's that have a Hydrafacial device. The great thing is that we have the like 3 different versions that are all different in price.
Okay.
But what you do is you don't just get the device, which is why I love Hydrafacial. You actually get a success partner, is what I like to call myself. I don't like to say a rep. I like to say that I'm a success partner because I'm there to partner with you to reach all of your goals. We come up with plans. We come up with what your goals are. We do events together. It's a very hand-holding experience, which can be very, very scary if you're just a single room Etsy and you're coming into it with a credit card and a prayer, right?
Credit card and a prayer, baby.
So, if you are in that situation, it's not just you by yourself. I'm that accountability partner. I'm the person there to saying, hey, we said that we were going to get, 20 clients. Where are we? Hey, this is what's working for this account. This is what's working for that account. They're within your region. Maybe you guys should do something collectively. Just having someone that's coming in with an array of knowledge and also servicing all of Georgia West really helps a lot of them feel comfortable than just being pushed out there alone and having to say, all right, now what's next?
And what other modalities or treatments could you combine Hydrafacial? Or do you feel like Hydrafacial is so busy as it is, just stick to, because it has not only does it have the chemical peel, it has the cleansing, the extractions, the infusion of serums, and then the LED as well, right? It's got a beautiful LED panel. Was there anything else that you would put in there, or do you think that that's a lot? Because it's also got the lymphatic drainage too.
It does. Well, what's really great about Hydrafacial is we're an company. So we don't really have anyone that we compete with because we play so well with others. So if you wanted to do microneedling, if you wanted to do lasers, if you wanted to do talks, if you wanted to do anything with a microneedling device, we are really great with combination therapies.
Right.
Anything that you
Call them
can think.
cocktails, darling.
Yes.
Skin cocktails.
Any
Nice little dirty.
anything that you can think of as far as an aesthetic treatment, Hydrafacial is what you want to be your starting point. So that way you can clean out anything that's in those pores to give you better and optimal results for whatever aggressive treatment that you may be trying.
I'm sure you could add microcurrent, that would be great. I'm sure you could add a little bit of radio frequency because then people can have a lot of service in one go.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's nice about it. And of course the glow that you get, but just how clean your skin feels, because the environment, there's just so many particles in the air now.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I love Hydrafacial. I'm a big Hydrafacial fan, but I also love the fact that you are an esthetician and you're walking the walk and you're talking the talk and you were able to move into this role. There's so many opportunities for estheticians out there, and I love that they're able to decide what they want to do. They want to be a business builder, I call it, but you called it a support. What did you call it?
A success partner.
I love that, a success partner.
Yes.
Because it's not easy to be successful.
Mhm.
It takes a team, and also Hydrafacial also has a lot of marketing collateral.
Absolutely.
They have training online, which I love. My students do the training inside the portal. But I know that so you could add a lot to your social media. It's done for you already.
Absolutely.
So, you don't have to
think about anything.
Yeah.
Everything is already streamlined for you. Anything that you come up with that you may feel that you need support with, as far as if you need someone to help you build a menu, we already have that. If you need marketing assets, we already have that.
The consent forms, you have that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Anything that you can think of as a business owner, we have a little hub called The Drop where you can go in and you can get everything that you need. And if you don't know where to go, what's really great is you have a success partner
There you
who
go.
will lead you in the right direction.
Destiny, are you in the drop?
I'm not, but I need to
Are you in the
be.
drop?
I need to be in the drop.
I'm
Yes.
gonna tell you where the drop, how to find the drop.
Nice.
Absolutely. It's a lot of marketing assets in there. So
Beautiful.
whenever you think of anything that you want to just place, you can plug and pull.
Okay, we'll get her in the drop there.
In the
Drop
drop.
two. Yeah. And so, is there anything new and exciting coming out with Hydrafacial that you could tell us? Or like, I know there may be some big secrets, but because we have boosters, right? So a lot of
Yes.
time there's partnership with boosters. But what about anything coming down the new modality, new add-on, anything?
I love that question, and I saw how you're doing everything with the barber.
Yeah.
So we are having some new CeraVe tips that are
Okay.
coming out.
For hair growth?
Yeah, it's for hair growth.
Okay.
We're also doing some new lip tips as well, which are going to help to plump up the lip, which
Okay.
is really great. I don't know if they're going to be available before, February, because I like to say pucker up season, and you can like do some promotions. And
So it's just
stuff
going to
like
be an
that.
attachment that goes onto your.
It's the tip that's
Yeah.
going to be on the end of the handpiece, for the CeraVe and also for the lip. For the CeraVe, why that's so important is because we understand that there's a lot of different demographics of clients. So you may have someone that likes to get braids, and you may have someone who has a little bit more coarser hair, someone who has straight hair. What that tip is going to do is allow us to service all types of clients instead of having something that's so bulky, that it may not be able to really get in that root. So the tips really
What about
well
men's
thought.
beards?
I think CeraVe's really good for that. If someone is looking
You know,
to
some men have a
grow
spotty
their beard,
some men have a spotty beard.
yeah, if someone has a beard and they have they're lacking hair in certain areas, I think CeraVe's really good for them.
Yeah, we need to add the I think they're looking for some in the chair services for the barbering because they could do a hydrofacial in the chair. So
That's
like
really,
project.
yeah.
Yeah, so we,
That's
we
right.
need we need to think about this here. So what any new boosters that are coming out?
No new boosters right now. We did just release the Hydrolock booster, which is really, really great. It has some hyaluronic acid, vitamin B5. I call it like the fire engine for your skin.
That's a good one.
Yeah, so when you think of like vitamin B5, a lot of times what it does is it helps with like inflammatory properties.
Right.
So just think about a fire engine just going through your skin and cleaning up anything that's making you inflammatory. Then you have the hyaluronic acid that's obviously going to give you some moisturization, but it's a very universal booster. It gives you a really, really, really great glow. Then we have some fruit extracts in it as well, which is going to help with that glow. And some antioxidant properties.
Right. So we're very excited at the Elaine Stilling Institute because we are a hydrofacial partner school. I'm not sure if that's the right word, but our students get certified. So they have a educational portal that they log into and they do their education and watch the videos and do the exercises, and then they have to do so many sign-offs, and then they get this beautiful hydrofacial certificate, and then they can when and it's on their resume that they're a hydrofacialist. So when they are, I always say, learn skills today
Yes.
that you can utilize tomorrow to make money, right? And that you can be put on the books tomorrow. Because I remember when I was an esthetician 1,000 years ago, darling. But a lot of times we weren't certified in something, so we couldn't be put on the book until we were certified or had been trained on a certain modality. So that really resonated with me. So I was like, I want to make sure that my graduates are certified as many things as possible so they can be put on the books for a multitude of services,
Absolutely.
and earn money tomorrow with skills you've learned today. It's so important.
And what I will say is you are doing a phenomenal job with it. I have, again, all of Georgia West. I just got 3 of your students that are now employed at a Massage Lux in McDonough, Georgia. And when I tell you that I see so many of your students and they are like, the bragging rights are through the roof because they come in and I'm like, hey, we have to get all the estheticians set up for training. And they're like, yeah, these 3 people said that they already have had the training. They went to some school that has Hydrafacial. I'm like, is it Elaine Sterling? And they're like, yeah, absolutely. And I'm like, absolutely. They are trained and they're ready to go. And it just really sets them apart because like 5 people interviewed for that job. Only 3 of your students are the ones that got it because they didn't have to. A lot of times, a lot of the funding for businesses goes into their onboarding process. So
Yeah.
to really have to cut that and just know that they're already ready. And the most that I would have to do, or the most that Anthony, our regional training specialist, would have to do, is to go in and just refresh.
Yeah. And just how, because obviously at school it may be a little bit different. There may be a few nuances for a spa that they need to brush up on because we do the 3, the signature, the deluxe, and the what's the last
Platinum.
platinum, yeah. So they learn all of that. And then they have access to the training material afterwards, I think, So
Absolutely.
yeah, so it's it's been great for them, and I think exactly that it sets them apart. They can get the job, and they can be put on the book because they obviously went to a spa that has the access to training. Now you go to a standalone spa salon, they may not have the ability to to bring Hydrafacial in, or whatever the case may be, and so they can get on that book right away. And that's really important because I always go back to that single mom. I worked for a spa that had multiple locations because I was like, okay, I'm a single mom. I like to do the math in my head. I want as many faces I can work on. And I figured this spa being a big chain, they would have lots of faces. As a single mom, that's important, right? So we always have to think about business, and I'm really trying to do that. I'm trying to make my students more business savvy in the world. So I'd like to ask people what the New Year's resolution is, but what are your intentions for Jazmyne for 2025?
Ooh, that is a great question.
And not resolutions, because I have a scarf that says no resolutions. I've had it for like 10 years, and I wear that January 1st. So because intentions, because that means that you really are intending to do it. Because resolutions like, I'm being bad and now I need to like stop doing that, right? Like I don't do dry January. I just want to stop it.
Well, I would say to understand that God always puts me in the right position. I would love to ask Elaine Stern to be my mentor this year.
Oh, I know people. I think I can make that happen.
And also, I really do want to have my credit card and prayer moment this year. So I want to invest in self, maybe open up some salon suites, so that I can help the next estheticians find a place that's suitable for them while understanding what it's like to be very fearful and stepping into that role, of going out, by yourself. So I will have my credit card and prayer moment this year. I am being a prayer warrior. I've started off really well this year. I've been very, very, very intentional. Um, I've been reading a lot. I've been, I also think that it's very true about what you say about who you hang around is very important. So I've been making sure that I'm scaling that and putting myself in rooms with like-minded people because I will understand that I could, you are who you hang with. And while I'm not going to be, and I never will be an opportunist because I'm just a very authentic person, and authenticity always for me takes the cake. I will understand the value of having people that have dreams that may seem really wild to some people, but to you, you know that it's attainable.
Yeah.
So I don't really want to say that it's like you said a resolution. It's what I'm going to do.
Intentions, and yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's absolutely what I'm going to do. Because I think it's now is the time. There's nothing else that's holding me back or that I should wait for. And I think that I have a calling on myself and I want to step into it. And fear is not an option this
No.
year. Yeah.
Fear what's they walk where angels fear to tread. That's always my thing. I'm like, no, I can do this. I can do this. I can do this. I think those are great dreams. Those are great goals. Those are great intentions. Because you're going to just I always say you're going to play a bigger game. You're going to play a bigger game for yourself. That's what you're going to do because you know you can do it, right? And you're not going to be fearful as well because you're going to be smart about it.
So can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Did you ever have fear? And could you tell me a time where your fear just overshadowed what you wanted to do and how you got yourself out of that?
No, because I'm not a fearful person. And I think that's just my personality. Like my DNA, I'm part Viking, part Russian. And so I think it's like, I don't have any fear whatsoever. And it's not that I have failed a few times. Somebody said to me, but Elaine, you learned from that failure. I'm like, hell no, I want to learn from that. But I absolutely believe that I can do this. So I never have a fear of failure moment. I mean, the thing may go a little different way. I mean, I may think I'm going this way, but then the universe says, okay, now hold on, you got to go a little bit right and then a little bit left and then go straight. You know what I mean? So sometimes it morphs into something else, or it doesn't work, but it doesn't mean it's not working. It just means that I got to do it that other way to get to where I need to be. So it's not a failure. It's just, okay, that direction is not working. So now we're going to go take ways and we're going to find the alternative route because that route is not working. And I believed it was the right time then. Would I do it now? No. But I think what happened was, I think that business is like a comedy. Comedy has timing. When you're acting in comedy, and the theater's got timing. So you have to be in the right place at the right time. I think that business is very metaphysical. That's why I really don't try and push too hard. Like right now I'm negotiating our new location, and it's had some ups and downs and turnarounds, and I'm just going through the motions because I'm like, you know what, this is going to work out. And if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. But I could, I think in the Bible they call it like pushing against the pricks. There's like a verse in there somewhere. Like think of thorns. If you keep pushing against those thorns, you're just going to get a bunch of like holes, right? So it's not that it's failing, it's that way is not working. I've got to do it, and I've got to do it differently. And it's not like I'm going to go open a pie shop. The other thing I tell people, it's funny, business is funny. There was a pie shop on Roswell Road. I think of the name of the pie shop now. They're like miniature pies. And I remember when they opened up like 7 years ago, I was like, who's going to buy pies? This is never going to work. Line out the door, babes. Line out the door. 7 years.
Did you try one of those pies?
Yeah.
Were they good?
They're very sweet. They're too sweet for me, but
Gotcha.
but I like how they're like miniature pies. And so it's like, I never poo-poo any business model, but I will say that the other thing is that stay in your lane, and just because you can doesn't mean you should. And I'm going to say that again, just because you can doesn't mean you should. When you start growing up in this business, and you start getting known, and you start becoming a mentor, and you start becoming, people will start saying, hey, you should do this, and you should do that, and this is a great idea, and this is a great idea, and this is a great idea. And then you could suddenly be going all over the place, right? And then not. So what I really try and do is like, does that fit in my mission statement? Does that fit in with my mission, vision, and values? And for the business, but for my life, because my business and my life are one and the same, right? So if I have this big thing, and for all you viewers out there, I'm sorry, but I say a cluttered car is a cluttered mind, and then a cluttered house is a cluttered mind. And so if you're cluttered in your personal life, it doesn't have to be physical clutter, but it could be disarray, and then you're disarray in your business life. And that doesn't mean there's cluttered stuff. It could even mean like how you're doing your business is cluttered. And so I was like preaching so much this week, and my car has been such a dirty because of the snow. On the way to work today, I was like, I am having my car cleaned because I've told 3 people this week, a cluttered car is a cluttered mind. And my God, if they saw my car, because the snow and everything, the car was so dirty. So those are my little pearls of wisdom. So I think that is to also have a business plan. And you can call it a business plan, or you can call it mind mapping. So I created a PowerPoint with all of the slides from beginning to end, and then it could be like your goals as well, and I mean, like ideas, like a vision. It's like a virtual vision board, right? As opposed to the one that's on the board with the name and all the different pictures and what I needed, and then I could change out the slides. Because it doesn't mean that you have to stick to the plan, but because your ideas could change. Because you know what it is, you like watch a Scottish movie, and then all of a sudden you're wearing tartan. Oh, I went to Scotland. When I got back, I bought so many tartan suits and tartan skirts, and you know what I mean? How we are, because I love fashion too. I'm a slave to fashion.
Really?
Let me tell you something.
Favorite designer?
Oh, I have so many. Okay, so let me tell you something. Well, for handbags,
Her dogs are named after her designer.
What?
no, my so I love Chanel and Louis Vuitton. Okay, but I also love the history of fashion. I'm big on the history of fashion. And but I can rock a Target shoe. I can rock. These are Steve Madden my boots. You can't see them, but I can rock a Walmart shirt.
Mhm.
You know what I loved? What's his name? The famous American designer that designed the Olympic.
Is it Michael Kors?
No, not Michael Kors. It's the other one that has Ralph Lauren.
Okay.
Ralph Lauren was interviewed, and it's on YouTube, but he's wearing his favorite flannel Kmart shirt. And for all of you that are too young, there was a store called Kmart. That's where everybody bought everything from. Okay, Sears and Kmart. So he's wearing it. It's a beautiful green flannel shirt. You'd think he'd be wearing one of his own Ralph Lauren flannel
Mhm.
shirts, right? And he's like, I will wear what I wear. I will wear what I love. And this was his favorite shirt. So like, I find some great finds everywhere, but yeah, I'd say I'm loving Adidas right now. I'm buying a lot of
Ooh.
Adidas sneakers.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm really loving that. I love me some Prada.
It's like really good,
Givenchy.
classic, simplistic.
Yeah, but I think for me, I mean, I have some clothes. Oh, I bought myself like I'm big on Gucci as well.
Mhm.
Again, I go to the history of the fashion designers because you learn so much. Like, for example, there's one shape of Louis Vuitton bag that was made just for Chanel. Did you know that?
I did not.
And she allowed them after a while to sell it. So now it's sold. And forgive me, I can't remember the shape, but so I love to listen to those stories and read about those stories. I even love I love Ferragamo. Ferragamo is beautiful as well. I have some really nice pieces of Ferragamo. So yeah, I tend to really the new designers. I know there's so many. I am following a designer, Max, on social media. He's 9. He's a famous fashion designer. He started designing when he was 4. He told his parents, and Israq Mazari was taking him around to like showing him the all the fashion in the museums and
Is it children's fashion?
no, it's adults.
Oh, wow.
Like he's at New York Fashion Week.
Oh.
Yeah, you should see what he does. He told his parents at 4 years old that he was going to be a fashion designer.
Wow.
They bought him
Sewing machine.
yeah, and he's only allowed to sew after school for a few hours, and then he has to have dinner, and then he has to do his homework, and then he goes back to so he does his pajamas. And I'm following this prodigy, and I'm like, we have no excuses.
Right.
When a 4-year-old is sewing
Mhm.
and is on and all the fashion designers know him, and all of the movie stars want his jacket. He makes a jacket with wings on the back.
I
Yeah.
have to look him up. You said his name's Matt?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I mean, so I get like, because to me, fashion is art,
Mhm.
and styles come and go, but there are some styles that are like forever.
Timeless.
I have some clothes that I bought because I also used to work in retail. I have some clothes that I bought when it's 24 years old, and I still wear it. I
Mhm.
can't pose them the way I used to, and I don't think they're around anymore. But it was Mondi. They're a German brand. Because when you worked at the department store, you could get like some less 70 off the final sale, right?
Absolutely.
And so like some things are just like so beautiful. It's like a houndstooth, but then it's got like flowers on it. So like and then I have some of my mother's Dior sunglasses from the 80s. I mean, I just feel fabulous in them.
Right, and like nice.
There's nothing like a vintage.
I know
you
my
know.
grandmother had like a lot of. I was like, I didn't even know that they made like clip-on YSL earrings.
Yeah.
Who just goes and gets those?
Yeah.
So that's really cool.
Yeah.
Go need them.
So
We all need them.
absolutely. I have another question.
Mm-hmm.
So you said just because you can doesn't mean that you should. Did you ever have a moment in the industry where just because you could, you did, and it was just like really comical when you look back at it and you were like, why did I do that?
Not comical, but the fact that it stretched me so thin.
Mm.
And because I always like to say yes to everybody, but it just stretched me so thin that I didn't have time to go back to my core thing. So, just when it starts pulling you away from your core business, saying, hang on, maybe I need to say no to that next time. I think because and so and then yeah, I mean not that it was comical, but the other thing that I did, didn't work out. And that's okay. But I have just more and more as I've gotten older to stay in my lane. And if there are other opportunities, does it fit in to what the school and what or my vision is. So that's all because you can be tempted by the lights and the stars and things that people offer you because you should be doing because everybody becomes an expert. You should be doing this and you should be doing that. You should be doing that. Well, no, I don't should be doing anything. Should not.
So when you became an expert in the industry, and I think that being an expert, it comes with the territory, a lot of naysayers.
Well, the haters. I have a list of haters.
How did you learn to maneuver that? At any point, did it ever have any type of, give you any type of feeling? Like,
I think I would just take a step back. I remember my first bad review because you get a bad review as an esthetician, right? It's going to happen. But when it's your first one, oh my God. So I had just opened my school and I only had 6 students, right?
wow.
One of them wrote a bad review. And I'm like, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You know what I mean? And that I cried. I called my accountant. I cried for 24 hours. Like I boohooed. Because it was like I cared so much and I gave so much. I was working 7 days a week, 12 hours a day because I was teaching all the students myself. And then I had to go home at night and do the laundry. And then on the weekend, I had to write the curriculum and organize the following week. And so if something wasn't going, and I was teaching them all myself, right? So I was given. So, but if a student wasn't happy about something, I wish she had come to me and said, hey, let's talk. You know what I mean? But to put it on such a public platform, and I kind of think I know which one. And then she's still friends with me today on Facebook. But then after your 12th bad review, but I would say that there's twofold to that. It is that people think that I've got so much going on that I'm traveling the world in my private jet or that I'm doing all these fabulous things. I have no FOMO. I have zero fear of missing out because I am in my home with my PJs, my little doggies, Max and Louie, and we're on the sofa in front of the fireplace, having a hot chocolate or whatever we're doing. I mean, I am not out and about that much. The other thing is that they have an idea of me, that I'm this mean bitch, whatever. And I have a hard exterior, but I'm more like, soft brownie in the middle, you have to stand up for yourself because I think it's hard being a woman in business because when you're a strong businessman, you're a wow.
Right.
When you're a strong businesswoman, you're a bitch, right?
Absolutely.
And that irritates me because it's like, I will not be pushed over because a lot of times I've got to stand up for myself. And when I stand up for myself, and a lot of my staff have seen it when people have tried to push me over, I'm like, no, 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 this is what I want. And I get what I want.
As you should.
And so it's hard being a woman in business, because of those reasons.
Does it become easier?
No. No, because it's still somewhat a man's world. I'll never forget when I was looking for locations, and a lot of times I'm just in my scrubs, no makeup, I'm always down and dirty and working, doing my thing. And then I went to look for a space with my broker, and that guy was like, so is anybody else coming? Like saying, like looking like to me like, I wasn't a decision maker. And my broker was like, no. He even like looked around because he thought maybe there was somebody behind us. He was like, no, we're it. And then another time I went to look, I was looking at this condo and I thought, okay, this would be a great condo to buy. And I was again in scrubs, no makeup, just out of work and probably had schmutz on my scrubs and they like didn't even give me the time of day. Like I felt like I was an episode of Pretty Woman, Oh, but I got money in my bag. So I mean, I laugh at those moments, because I'm also not. I mean, yeah, just talk about fashion. I love to dress up, but I will slap those scrubs on, and I will scrub a floor, I will sweep a floor, I will clean out a stock room, because I know where everything is in the school. You know what I mean? So I'm not afraid to get my hands dirty and afraid to work hard. So this is those elements. I feel like we've had a therapy session. Yeah, this is and of course it's season 2, episode 1 of Esthetician Unlocked. But this is great. I feel like we should have. We're gonna have you back because we've got so much to talk about.
Absolutely.
I think we need to talk about. We'll ask the viewers what they want to talk about, but definitely, I think we want to talk about. Is hydrofacial good for every skin type? What about African American skin? What about Indian? What about Asian skin? What about compromise? I'm all about now immune compromised skin. I think we need to dive deep into some skin conditions and also I think we've got some good business stuff to tell people.
Absolutely. I can't wait.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I thank you for having me.
Well, I thank you for taking time out of your day to come and be on Esthetician Unlocked and to share, because I think being a solo Esty, you feel like you're alone.
Absolutely.
And I want people to know that you're not alone. We can really help you with some pearls of wisdom. Right?
Absolutely. And I am Jazmyne. I'm here to help. And
how can they
support.
find you? Where can they find you? How can they find you if they're interested in hydrofacial?
Absolutely. So if you are interested in hydrofacial, you can find me on Instagram at Jazmyne Esthetics, and that is with an A. That is my primary form of communication.
Okay, very good. So we'll see you soon, and we'll see you guys soon on the next episode of Esthetician Unlocked, where you're always in the